She's still here. We're keeping an eye on her, looking after her, and she's waiting for us. The bishop has just given permission for clergy with their immediate households filming or licensed lay ministers under the same rules to come into church to use it for private prayer or to film services in the building. That says something. I've been thinking about the way things are and the way that things happened, and what struck me was it all happened very suddenly. One week we were quite entertained by bumping elbows at the peace. The next week we withdrew the common cup, so just I took. And on Tuesday of the week after that, we were instructed by archbishops and bishops to lock down the church as well, to close the doors and not use the building. There's good reasons for that, and it's impossible building to clean in the kind of way it would need to be cleaned if we were to use this in anything like a normal kind of way. But it all happened very quickly. And it's a kind of bereavement not to find ourselves together in this place. We clergy walk alongside folk who are bereaved, and we watch it and we try to support. We hold them in our prayers, in our care. But what we do know is a bereavement, whether it happens suddenly or over a long period of time, leaves a gap, it leaves a hole. And there's a big gap, there's a big hole for us here. I don't feel very comfortable being here without everybody else. It's not that I'm lonely, Sue's here, but I'm very conscious of the folk that I'm not with. And as I look around the building, I can see the spaces where you'd be sitting. In that corner there, and that row there, and the folk who sit over here, and back there. And of course, the ones behind me as well. We've been doing our best to try and do things online, things that were helpful. And I know that some folk have been really grateful for that. I know some people haven't been able to access it, and that's something that we're trying to address even now. But the truth is that we are physical people. We are flesh and blood. And it's not the same watching pixels on a screen. But at the moment, that's how we have to be. So we have to think of ourselves as being bereaved and grieving and recognising what that is, what that means. It may be a temporary bereavement. We've no idea how long a bereavement it will be at all. It may only be temporary, but it's still a bereavement. It's still a loss. There's still a hole. There's still a gap. And so what should we be doing during bereavement? Thinking very hard about how we will gather. Thinking very hard about how we can support each other. How we can be generous with each other. And I think how we can be kind to each other as well. Even virtually. Even if we can't do it on the doorstep. It's important that we continue to be nurtured in our faith, even if we're alone, even if the lockdown is eased up a bit. It's important that we remain nurtured. And so even though at the moment, as I said, I'm not anticipating having services in here and everyone watching me, I know some of my clergy colleagues are dying to put on the robes and get out the silver and everything. But that feels to me like clergy exceptionalism. And I only want to be here with the people that I should be here with. That doesn't mean that the building is going to be abandoned, unused. There are things that we're thinking about of ways that we can use it. And going forward, we need to be creative and imaginative and faithful to the traditions that we inherit and the things that we carry. And then the third thing that we need to do is pray. I think prayer is a topic that's going to come up quite often in the days and the weeks ahead. I know it's something that's both on Matt's heart and on mine as well, and we've both been thinking about it. I was doing some reading, Bible reading, and we'll be thinking about stories for this season as well at some point. And it's something I've read over and over. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Jesus makes a priority of prayer, and it's important that we do as well. I could have looked at the reading where the disciples say to Jesus, John taught his disciples to pray, teach us, we want to pray. Could have gone to the reading where Jesus spends a night in prayer and the next day he calls the 12. Essential to the rhythm of his life and as his people. It's important that we try to seek to make it part of the rhythm of our lives as well. Sometimes we think that prayer's a complicated thing, but really it's simple. And one of the things I read said that there are only 3 prayers. And this is just a brief summary. Sometimes we might need to go to a particular place, a corner of the house, a chair. Sometimes we might want to light a candle, have a cross. But the first prayer is to say, here I am. To approach God. To offer him ourselves. Here I am is a regular phrase in the Bible. Isaiah has a great vision. Here I am, he says. Send me. Here I am. When we come to God in prayer, we offer ourselves. We say, here we are. And the second prayer is the prayer that says, thank you. Even in the midst of the times we find ourselves in, we can find things for which to give thanks. And we don't have to work hard at that. And your things to give thanks for might be different to my things, and that's fine. But if the things that matter to us, whether it be sunshine or a garden, whether it be a book, a music, some music, whether it's a hobby, whether it's the people around us, the people that we see, the people we care about, even if they're a long way away and we can't see them, we can say thank you. And then the final prayer has 2 parts to it. One is please, that asking in prayer. Not listing our wishes, but those deep things. Again, maybe it's the people. Bringing those before God. And the second part of the prayer is a personal one. It's help me. Please. And help me. Praying is as simple as that, but it's also as rich and as powerful as that. As we go forward in the days we find ourselves in, may we find ourselves recognizing the grief that we feel. May we recognize the need to be kind and generous to ourselves and to others as well. And when we give ourselves to prayer, whichever words fall naturally to your lips are the words to use. Amen.